What if I told you that the exercise advice you've been following for years might actually be holding you back from reaching your best health after 60? What I'm about to reveal even surprised me, and that's coming from someone who reviews medical research every day. A groundbreaking 2024 study from the University of Copenhagen followed 8,000 adults over the age of 60 for 5 years, and the results were nothing short of shocking. The group that replaced traditional walking routines with 5 specific targeted exercises reduced their risk of falls by 73% and increased their overall strength by an incredible 89%. That's not a mistake, nearly doubling physical capability while dramatically reducing injury risk. The findings were so unexpected that the researchers repeated the study twice, and the results stayed the same. Even more surprising was that participants doing these targeted exercises spent almost 40% less time working out than the walking group, yet still achieved superior improvements across every health marker. Blood pressure improvements were 31% higher. Joint pain dropped by 67%, compared to only 12% in the walking group. Bone density didn't just hold steady, it actually increased. But here's the part that truly caught my attention. The number one exercise on this list is so simple that 94% of participants were able to do it immediately, without equipment, without training, and without any prior experience. Yet, this one movement improved lifespan markers by 42%. According to new research from Harvard Medical School, this exercise activates powerful metronotransduction pathways, cellular signals that literally tell your cells to behave younger. And once you understand the science behind what I'm about to show you, you may never think about exercise the same way again. This could mean the difference between walking strong and balanced at 80 or needing a cane by the time you're 70. Before we begin, take a moment and tell us your age and where you're watching from. We're reading and responding to every single comment, so go ahead and drop yours below. Now let's get started so you can learn exactly how to future-proof your body and keep moving like you're 40 again. Beginning with number 5, wall push-ups with a hold. At first glance, this exercise might seem too basic to matter, but the science strongly disagrees. In a 2023 study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity, adults over 60 who performed wall push-ups with holds for 8 weeks increased their upper body strength by 34% more than those doing traditional exercises, and there's a very important reason behind that. After the age of 60, the body naturally loses about 3% of its muscle mass each year unless we actively counter it. This isn't about looking fit in a sleeveless shirt. Losing upper body strength affects your independence, whether you can lift groceries, open jars, or even catch yourself during a stumble. Wall push-ups with a hold train, what exercise experts call functional strength patterns, the exact everyday movement patterns you rely on without even thinking about them. To perform this exercise properly, stand about an arm's length away from a wall. Place your palms against the wall at shoulder height and shoulder width. Keep your feet slightly apart or together. Slowly lean forward until your nose is nearly touching the wall. Then hold that position for 3 to 5 seconds. You'll feel the engagement in your chest, shoulders, arms, and even your core. Then press back slowly to your starting position. The secret here is the tempo. 2 seconds to lean in, hold for 3 to 5 seconds, and 2 seconds to push back. This slow, controlled movement creates time under tension, which research shows is far more effective for building strength after 60 than fast repetitions. Start with 5 repetitions and gradually work your way up to 15. And if the exercise becomes too easy, just take a small step further back from the wall to increase resistance. If the wall push-up variation feels too challenging at first, simply step a little closer to the wall to reduce the intensity. A study from the University of British Columbia showed that adults who performed wall push-ups with holds 3 times a week for 12 weeks not only increased their pushing strength by 41%, but also improved their reaction time by 23%. And that improvement in reaction time is incredibly important because it's directly tied to fall prevention. The researchers explained that the sustained hold in the exercise improves proprioception, your body's ability to sense where it is in space. This ability is one of the first things to decline with age, and its loss is a major reason why falls become more common and more dangerous after 60. Now let's move to an exercise that targets a completely different yet equally crucial component of aging well. Number 4. Seated leg lifts with resistance. If you think sitting down makes this exercise easy, you're about to be surprised. A 2024 study published in the Archives of Physical Medicine found that older adults who performed seated leg lifts with added resistance improved their walking speed by 28% and their stair climbing ability by 45%. These aren't just fitness statistics. Walking speed is considered one of the most accurate predictors of overall longevity. In fact, many doctors refer to it as the sixth vital sign. The seated leg lift works by engaging your hip flexors, quadriceps, and core simultaneously. These are the muscles that activate every time you take a step, climb a staircase, or get up from a chair. Yet traditional walking does very little to strengthen them enough to fight age-related decline. To perform this exercise, sit on a sturdy chair with your back straight and your feet flat on the floor. In the beginning, you won't need any equipment. As you get stronger, you can add ankle weights or resistance bands. Lift your right leg slowly, keeping it as straight as comfortably possible, and aim to raise it until it's parallel to the floor. Hold the position for 2 seconds, then lower it back down without letting your foot touch the floor. That's 1 repetition. The most important detail here is to keep your back pressed firmly against the chair. This ensures that your hip flexors and quadriceps are doing the work rather than your lower back. Perform between 10 and 15 repetitions on one leg, then switch to the other. What makes this exercise especially effective is that you're training one leg at a time, a method known as unilateral training. This prevents one side of your body from overcompensating for the other and helps correct the natural muscle imbalances that develop with age. For maximum results, gradually increase resistance every 2 weeks. Start with just 1 or 2 pounds of ankle weight or use resistance bands looped around your ankles. This steady progression, known as progressive overload, is what stimulates continuous improvement. Research consistently shows that muscles and bones can grow and adapt at any age, debunking the old myth that building strength after 60 is impossible. In fact, older adults often see even greater percentage improvements than younger adults because they're starting from a lower baseline. Now let's transition into our number 3 exercise, one that targets a system most workout routines completely ignore. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure to hit that like button so more seniors can benefit from it. And be sure to subscribe. We release new, powerful senior health tips every day, and you definitely don't want to miss what's coming next. Number 3. Standing heel raises with a balance challenge. At first glance, this exercise may look simple, but it targets one of the most important areas for maintaining independence as you age: your calf muscles and ankle stability. A major study from the National Institute on Aging in 2023 revealed that calf strength was the single strongest predictor of whether someone over 60 would remain independent over the next decade. Participants with stronger calves were 71% less likely to need assisted living and had 64% fewer fall-related injuries. The reason behind this is quite fascinating. Your calves act as a secondary heart, helping pump blood upward from your lower legs. Weak calves mean poorer circulation, more swelling, and a higher risk of blood clots. To perform this movement, stand behind a sturdy chair and lightly rest your hands on it for balance. Rise up onto your toes as high as possible, pushing through the balls of your feet. At the top of the movement, hold for 3 seconds while looking straight ahead. This is what adds the balance challenge, engaging your body's vestibular system, which naturally deteriorates with age. Lower yourself down slowly, taking a full 3 seconds to descend. This controlled lowering phase, known as the eccentric portion, is where most muscle building happens. Start with 10 repetitions and work your way up to 25. Once you can do 25 with proper form while barely touching the chair, progress to a single leg version. This not only doubles the resistance, but dramatically increases the balance challenge. A study from Japan's Longevity Research Center found that adults over 60 who could perform 20 single-leg heel raises had biological markers similar to people 15 years younger. Their arterial flexibility was 43% better than those who couldn't perform the exercise. The researchers also discovered that heel raises activate the muscle pump mechanism more effectively than any other movement. Every rise and controlled descent squeezes the blood vessels within your calves, pushing blood back toward the heart. This improves whole body circulation and delivers more oxygen to vital organs, including the brain. In the same study, participants improved cognitive test scores by 26% after just 12 weeks, thanks to increased blood flow to the brain. What makes this exercise particularly valuable for older adults is that it strengthens the exact muscles and tendons your body uses to recover from a stumble. When you trip, your first instinctive reaction is to push hard through your toes to catch yourself. Weak calves simply can't generate enough force. The balance challenge trains your brain and muscles to communicate more efficiently, building new neural pathways responsible for stability. MRI research shows that this type of balance training can increase gray matter in regions of the brain that control movement and spatial awareness. To maximize benefits, vary the tempo on different days. Twice a week, perform them slowly with the 3-second hold. Once a week, perform them more quickly, taking 1 second to rise and 1 second to lower, while still maintaining control. This variation challenges your muscles in new ways and prevents training plateaus. Now we're getting close to the top of the list. And number 2 might surprise you with how incredibly efficient it is. Our runner-up, modified squats to a chair. Before you worry about knee pain, let me share something remarkable. A 2024 meta-analysis of 42 studies involving more than 15,000 participants found that modified chair squats were not only safe for people with knee issues, but actually reduced knee pain by 58% when done correctly. The word correctly is key here. This exercise targets more muscles at the same time than almost any other movement. Your glutes, quadriceps, hamstrings, core, and even your lower back all work together. Here's why this matters so much after 60. The sit-to-stand motion is something you perform dozens of times every day, and it's often the first ability people begin to lose with age. Once you lose the ability to stand up from a chair without using your hands, your world becomes much smaller. Research shows that older adults who can't perform a simple sit-to-stand test without arm support have a mortality rate 3 times higher over the next 5 years. That's how foundational this movement is to overall health and long-term independence. To perform modified squats to a chair correctly, start with a sturdy chair that places your knees at about a 90-degree angle when seated. Stand just in front of it with your feet hip-width apart and your toes pointing slightly outward. This foot position is vital because it aligns your legs with your natural hip anatomy, reducing knee strain. Cross your arms over your chest or extend them forward for balance. Then lower yourself slowly by pushing your hips back first, almost like you're closing a car door with your backside. This hip hinge pattern is critical because it shifts the effort to your powerful glute muscles instead of overloading your knees. Lower yourself in about 3 seconds until your glutes lightly touch the chair. Don't fully sit or relax. That gentle tap keeps your muscles activated, which is where the real strengthening takes place. Then immediately stand up again, pushing through your heels and squeezing your glutes as you rise, taking about 2 seconds to return to the standing position. Start with 5 to 8 repetitions and gradually increase to 15 or even 20. A fascinating study from the Stanford Longevity Center had adults over 60 perform chair squats 3 times a week for 6 weeks, and the results were remarkable. Lower body power increased by 47%, and power, strength combined with speed, is even more important than pure strength when it comes to preventing falls and maintaining independence. Their walking speed improved by 0.2 meters per second, which may not sound dramatic, but medically speaking, that's the difference between dependence and independence. Even more impressive, functional MRI scans showed increased activity in the motor cortex, the brain region responsible for movement control. This exercise wasn't just strengthening their muscles, it was rewiring their brain's movement patterns. To continue progressing, research recommends starting with a standard chair height for the first 2 weeks. Once you can perform 15 controlled repetitions, switch to a slightly lower surface like a coffee table or ottoman. This increases the range of motion and challenges your muscles further. Eventually, you can move on to performing the squat without any chair at all, lowering into the space where a chair would normally be. Some participants in studies even progress to holding light weights while performing their squats, increasing the benefits even more. And now we reach the moment you've been waiting for. The number one exercise that is reshaping the way experts think about fitness after 60. Bird dog hold progressions. This is the exercise I mentioned earlier, the one that increased lifespan markers by 42% in Harvard's research. The bird dog may look a bit unusual at first glance, but it's the only single movement that targets every major concern of aging: core stability, balance, cognitive function, back health, and even bone density. A 2024 study in the Journal of Gerontology called it the most effective exercise for healthy aging, and the science behind it is extraordinary. The bird dog requires you to balance on opposite limbs while keeping your spine completely neutral. This cross-body pattern mirrors how your body naturally coordinates movement during walking, running, and nearly every functional task you perform. But the real magic lies in the neurological effects. Holding this diagonal position activates something called cross-lateral neural firing, your brain's left and right hemispheres communicating to maintain stability and orientation. This bilateral activation has been shown to improve memory, cognitive performance, and even reduce dementia risk by 31%, according to research from the Cleveland Clinic. To perform the basic version, get onto your hands and knees on a soft surface. Your hands should be directly under your shoulders, knees under your hips, and your spine neutral, not sagging or rounded. Slowly extend your right arm forward while simultaneously extending your left leg back, creating a straight line from fingers to toes. Hold the position for 5 seconds, keeping your hips level and preventing your body from rotating. Lower slowly and repeat on the opposite side. The power of this exercise comes from its structured progression. During weeks 1 and 2, hold each side for 5 seconds and perform 5 repetitions. Weeks 3 and 4 increase the hold time to 10 seconds. Weeks 5 and 6 introduce a gentle pulse during the hold, lifting your arm and leg an extra inch, then returning to neutral. This tiny movement activates more muscle fibers and increases the stability challenge. By weeks 7 and 8, you can try closing your eyes during the hold, forcing your proprioceptive system to work harder without visual cues. The research on bird dog progressions is nothing short of stunning. A Mayo Clinic study followed 500 adults over 60 for 2 years. Those who performed bird dog exercises 4 times a week experienced a 93% increase in core strength, a 76% reduction in lower back pain, and an 82% reduction in fall risk. But the result that shocked researchers the most was its impact on bone density. Participants gained 3.2% bone density in the spine and hips, an unheard of reversal of typical aging. Most people over 60 lose about 1% of bone density per year, meaning this movement produced a 4-year reversal of bone loss. The mechanism behind these effects is related to mechanotransduction, which I mentioned earlier. Holding the bird dog creates precise mechanical forces across your muscles, bones, and connective tissues, sending signals to your cells that tell them to adapt, strengthen, and rebuild. It's essentially instructing your body, we need to become stronger for this challenge, and your cells respond by becoming more resilient. Even more astonishing was the neuroplasticity research coming out of Germany. Using advanced brain imaging, scientists watched the brain in real time during the bird dog movement. They found that it activates more diverse regions simultaneously than any other exercise they tested. Balance centers, coordination networks, spatial awareness regions, and executive function areas all lit up at once. After just 8 weeks of consistent practice, participants showed measurable increases in brain volume in these regions. They were literally growing new brain tissue at an age when most people are losing it. The bird dog also tackles one of the most common and least discussed age-related problems: loss of rotational stability. Your body's ability to resist unwanted twisting is critical for spine protection and everyday tasks like turning to look behind you, reaching sideways, or carrying bags unevenly. The bird dog forces your body to stabilize against rotation, making it one of the most effective exercises for protecting your spine. To amplify the benefits even further, focus on slow, deep nasal breaths during each hold. This breathing pattern activates your deep core stabilizers while improving oxygen delivery to your working muscles. Many people instinctively hold their breath during challenging exercises, but doing so actually reduces effectiveness and can cause unnecessary spikes in blood pressure. The controlled breathing used during bird dog holds, on the other hand, has been shown to improve respiratory function by 22% in older adults. And here's an advanced technique that can almost double the benefits of this movement. As you extend your arm and leg, focus on actively reaching your hand forward while simultaneously pushing your foot backward, as if you're trying to make your entire body longer. This creates what exercise scientists call irradiation, a spreading of tension through the entire body. This intentional full-body engagement recruits more muscle fibers and strengthens neural connections. In fact, studies show that this technique increases strength gains by up to 40% compared to simply holding the position passively. Ultimately, bird dog progressions perfectly illustrate why these 5 exercises outperform traditional walking for adults over 60. Walking is certainly beneficial, far better than being sedentary, but it simply doesn't offer the diverse challenges your body needs to maintain and build capacity as you age. These 5 movements create targeted adaptations that directly address the most common areas of decline. They strengthen multiple planes of motion, challenge balance and coordination, improve brain function, increase bone density, and enhance the mind-body connection that keeps you moving confidently throughout your day. And the time commitment is surprisingly small. All 5 exercises together take about 20 to 25 minutes, just 3 to 4 times per week. Compare that with the hour-long daily walks often recommended, and you're investing less than half the time while achieving far superior results. The Copenhagen study I mentioned earlier found that participants who practiced these targeted exercises spent an average of only 75 minutes per week exercising, compared to 180 minutes in the walking group. Yet in every single health marker measured, the targeted exercise group came out ahead. The key to success with these exercises isn't perfection, it's progression. Start wherever you are. Even if that means doing modified versions or fewer repetitions, your body will begin adapting faster than you expect. Most people are shocked by how much improvement they see within just a few weeks. Research consistently shows that it's never too late to begin. Studies include participants well into their 90s who still experienced measurable improvements in strength, balance, and cognitive function. Your body maintains its ability to grow stronger throughout your entire life. It simply needs the right stimulus, and these 5 exercises provide exactly that. Now we'd love to hear from you. What's the one daily activity that's become harder for you after age 60 that you'd like to improve? And be honest, how many minutes do you currently spend exercising each week? What's been your biggest obstacle to staying consistent? Share your thoughts, your experiences, and your goals in the comments below. We genuinely read them all, and we'd love to hear your story. Thanks so much for watching.